Okay, today I'm going to take a look at scripting, creating a Python script to transfer the blend shapes from a higher to a lower resolution model. And that could be useful for when you have blend shapes, for example, for character customization that you can apply on your lower resolution models, your LOD 1 and 2. Just quickly going to show how to create those again, and then I'm going to show the script. And I also just want to show another script that I did for creating some rock meshes. But I first want to do the script here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I have my high resolution models here, and they've got their blend shapes on here. These are not corrective blend shapes, these are just for character customization. So there's 3 shapes in here on 3 of the 3 blend shape nodes, on 1 on the main character and then 2 on the eyes. And then this character is also animated as well. So the first thing I'm quickly going to do is just generate the level of detail by just going to level of detail and clicking this generate LOD meshes. Make sure to include copy skin weights. I'm only using 2 LODs. And once that's done, you should see, you can see the geometry there. There's 6,000 on LOD 1, 1,300 on LOD 2, and the highest level has got 13,000 vertices in them. I'm just quickly going to export this and test it. Hopefully it works. I'm not ticking animation, but it will export the blend shapes as well. Just exporting it to FBX. It's a warning about constraints. And making sure to include morph targets here and LODs, importing it into Unreal Engine. Just need to give the shaders a chance to recompile.
Can you please help?
Right, the shaders have recompiled. Let's take a look. So the materials here need to be ticked for working with morph targets, but if you just change these values, Unreal will automatically do it. And then recompile the shaders again, which it literally did 1 second ago. So this is my LOD 0, my highest level. I'm going to just change these to screen size here so I can see the level of details change a little bit faster or sooner. So there's level of detail 0 with a lot of morphing enabled. And there, as soon as it hits LOD 1, that's 7,000 vertices. You can see the blend shape is obviously not working there. So there's level of detail 2. So while these shaders are compiling, I'm not going to wait for that. The first thing I want to do here is just ungroup this level of detail group, because I want them to be like this. And then the script. I will put the script on my Google Drive with a link. So what the script will do is make sure that you select your level of detail first, and then your level of detail, your lower level of detail second. And that one must or won't have any blend shapes on them. So this is not for corrective blend shapes. This is more for character customization type blend shapes, or even facial animation blend shapes and things like that. And what the script will then do is go and find the level of detail 0's blend shape, and basically just get all the targets, and then iterate through those targets. It will create a blend shape node on the level of detail, the lower level of detail mesh, and then iterate through all the targets. And then basically just doing what I did in the last video manually. So it's going to set the level of detail, the target weight to 1, which will then apply the blend shape on the level of detail 0 mesh. It then duplicates the lower level of detail mesh, which does not have any targets in it yet, or not this target. And then it calls this transfer attributes, making sure to only pass the position. And I'm using the UV space. This is actually not in the Maya Autodesk documentation. I had to figure that out, that value there, that magic number 3. And then I just delete the construction history and add that target to the blend shape on the lower level detail blend shape, and then just delete the mesh. I don't need that mesh again. If I do need it, I could always get it back from the blend shape nodes itself. And then I just set the weight of the lower level of detail back to 0. And this is just an index that's incremented, and once all of that's done, it just selects the lower level of detail mesh. So let's see if it works. Just make sure all your weights are initially 0. So I'm going to start by selecting the higher LOD 0 and then LOD 1, and then I'm just going to run the script. Now this is the script just on my shelf. It's exactly the same script. And you should see the shapes here getting created. So it's also selected that LOD1. It's created the blend shape node. Unfortunately, this is in the wrong order, so you would have to fix that. So now the shape is before the skin cluster, otherwise it's trouble. The animations will mess up. So that could be something I could add next time. So the level of detail 1 is still selected, and these blend shapes should have transferred. I don't want the angry eyes actually. Okay, now I'm going to do the right and left eye. So I select the higher than lower level. See, the shape is in the wrong order again. Here's a flag that you can pass when you actually create the blend shape, so it shouldn't be that hard. And you can see those shapes have been created. Just need to make sure the order here is important when you have animations. Let's see if this works. So now I'm going to reconstruct my level of detail, just selecting highest to lowest, and then just use create LOD group. And then I'm just going to export this and overwrite the previous mesh. Constraints I don't care about now. These guys need to be saved. I'm going to re-import Okay. This time not getting any weird morph target not found errors. It should still remember my LOD settings from last time. So now, if I move to LOD 1, the blend shapes have worked. So they came along too. And if I go to LOD 2, it'll snap back to its, which is what I wanted. I could transfer to LOD 2 as well, but LOD 2 is going to be so small it will barely be visible. Cool, it's going a bit better than last time. Then I just want to show one more script. Need to just dig it up quickly. This is a very simple script. I mean, it's really easy to make these. This just creates a simple little cube with some random values, and then just applies a whole bunch of deformers on them. I'm going to be removing some of these deformers in a second, and then it just smooths it again and deletes the history, smooths it again and deletes the history. But the effect of that is you can get pretty cool shapes from these. Now keep in mind these will not be normal UV mapped or any of that. I use this for creating rocks because it gives it a pretty cool organic look, and then you can always go and apply a noise texture to these if you require more noise. And some of them are broken, so I wouldn't use these with the black because the wave there just went too far. These as well, I think this one here. If you apply a noise texture to this, it won't work so well. But I could try and apply a noise texture to these guys, see what happens. Texture deformer rather. And then I'm just going to set this to noise. You can get some cool looking effects here, and then you can play with these values. Now these are going to be high, pretty high resolution. So what you could do is you could obviously bring these down by smoothing them until they're in the an acceptable range. And for rocks I wouldn't go much further than like 1,000 or whatever. And then obviously with level of detail it's going to be less than a couple hundred vertices on LOD, on the lowest LOD. And then you could just apply a texture to this just to see what it looks like. And these would need to be UV mapped as well. I'm just planar mapping them. I could have done them all at the same time, I think. And then just going to do a quick roadkill on this. Which is just basically going to unwrap it. Those are horrible, that's not really what I wanted. I just want one seam here. I'm not going to do the others, let's just do this one and see. There we go, that's what I was looking for. So the planar map didn't do what I wanted to do. I'll also put the script in my Google Drive. Okay, this is not doing what I wanted to do. I'm just going to delete all the history. Just do this again. I think it's getting confused with the deformers. This one is very oddly shaped. That one's very stretched. So I think he was done. So you could get something going pretty quickly. Then you could still scale these around as you want. But this is, I think, not horrible. They're a little bit flat, so you could run this a few times, the script, to create more interesting shapes. And then just pick the ones you like. Anything that's intersecting like that, you won't be able to use. I wouldn't. But you can quickly get some shapes here. Some of them are good, some of them won't be good. Oh, that one's not too bad. This one here. So yeah, those are the scripts. Awesome. Thanks for watching.